December 22nd, 2014. From San Diego, California, this is episode 62 of You Can Bet on That. Hi, everybody. Welcome to You Can Bet on That, a podcast for the recreational gambler. My name is Mark Duvall, and sitting next to me is Dr. Mike.
Hello.
So are you on medication right now?
I am. I'm loaded up with Percocet and muscle relaxants.
Okay, so if we really go off the rails here,
if it sounds weird, it's because I'm dizzy. Dizzier than normal, I should say.
All right, so listeners probably already know that you had back surgery this last week. How'd that go?
Went okay. No major problems. The surgery actually went good.
Good.
You know, the recovery's a little hard, but let's see, it's been 4 days now?
Sounds about right.
Yeah, I'm doing all right.
Good. Okay.
I can sit.
Good.
So
that's important. Yeah. So if you were at the craps table that had a chair, like they do at Harris, Southern California.
I could not play very long.
No? Okay, so you're not there yet.
No, I'm not quite craps level yet.
Yeah, all right.
I'd be doing silly things like, putting all the hardways out for $100 a piece.
That's crazy. Yeah, that'd be crazy.
These serious problems.
All right. Well, good. But it sounds like you're on a pretty good road to recovery here. You're certainly better than when I talked to you a couple days ago.
Yeah,
so,
much better.
Yeah, good. So, and speaking of which, since we're talking about this, we're doing our episode a little later than usual because of the surgery. And then as far as our next episode goes, that's going to kind of fall right between kind of the Christmas and New Year's time. So who knows when we'll really be doing our next episode.
Right. Yeah. Well, I think it was originally scheduled, it would have been New Year's Eve. Yeah.
Oh, that's right. New Year's Eve. So we probably won't do it on New Year's
then.
Eve.
So it'll probably be maybe just after New Year's.
Probably just after New Year's.
Yeah. Maybe that Friday after New Year's.
Yeah. Okay. So let's jump to the news. So the Taj Mahal was supposed to close here in December, and it's gotten a reprieve, at least for a little while. Carl Icahn, who was supposedly going to sign a deal with the union, didn't sign the deal, but then he said he offered up like $20 million to keep the Taj open for a little while. This is a fluid, ongoing story, and all we can really say is, okay, it didn't close.
Yeah.
It's going to stay open at least a little while longer, but its future is still...
Well, if he's putting $20 million into it, you'd think he has an idea that it's going to stay open, right?
Maybe, yeah.
Because, why would you waste $20 million if you couldn't recover that, if it was like that was going to be lost money?
My guess is that they heard that it was one of the few Atlantic City casinos that we hadn't been to.
That's probably true.
But Icahn heard that and thought, Dr. Mike and Mark, we need to keep this open, this iconic Atlantic City property open
until they get here.
Yeah. So
probably waiting for me. This'll do it. He's coming, guys. He's coming.
He got through the surgery. Okay. And let's do this. We'll never go.
Yeah.
And so everybody will keep their
open.
jobs. Yeah. That's our gift to the employees of the Taj Mahal.
Unions around the country will be.
Yeah. They're waiting for us. We're never going to visit your location.
Good.
You're welcome. You have a reputation for being around naked people in public.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know how it happens.
It always happens to me.
It seems like it's in a casino environment or like the buffet or whatever.
And I don't actually seek this out.
No.
It just happens to me.
Yeah. So a couple weeks ago, I was lucky enough to be with you when once again one of these naked person incidents happened.
Yep.
Yeah. We were standing at the craps table, and I did you see her first?
I saw her first. I pointed out to you. I said, "Hey, Mark, turn around and look at this."
And I turned around, and it was this woman walking with several people, and I think there was already security around her.
Security was already
point.
there, yeah.
But she just had a boob out.
Yeah, a whole boob.
And it wasn't like, oh no, I slipped. It was like she was almost deliberately exposing it.
Yeah, she had pulled her dress, her thing down to expose, and they were good sized.
Yeah, and she had them out, and I don't know what her activist message was.
Well, my dad said that he had seen her earlier at a slot machine, and she was having some problem with security.
Okay.
So I think, she was probably drunk or there was some issue, and they were escorting her out, and she decided, as long as I'm getting thrown out, I'm going to pull out a boob.
That's so strange. So they eventually just escorted her out, covered her up, right, and escorted her out.
Yeah, it was funny. The last thing I saw was a security guard taking off his suit jacket to put over her.
To cover her up.
Yeah, because I guess maybe she wouldn't comply about putting her dress back on.
Yeah.
Or she obviously wasn't going to do it on her own, but she let him put the jacket on her.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. It's a double standard. That's what bothers me.
Oh, what?
Because if I whip something out and walk through the casino, I'd be arrested for I'd be on the sexual deviant list or something, right?
Yeah,
right.
Probably.
She just probably gets escorted to the door, and everyone claps and cheers the whole way. I mean, all the dealers were whooping it up, and everyone was like, "Woo, woo!"
Well, it wasn't quite like that.
Well, they were pretty.
It did catch it. I don't mind the double standard. It actually doesn't get to me, so I'm not concerned that I can't just whip stuff out and get
walk
away
through
with
the
it.
casino.
Yeah, it doesn't bother me so much.
As long as there's a girl doing it, I guess that's all right.
All right. Hey, thanks to everyone who's been clicking through our Amazon link. Boy, yeah, we've been getting a lot of traffic, of course, during the holiday season here, so we really do appreciate that. Remember, whenever you're going to buy something through Amazon, go to our page first, youcanbetonthat.com, and click through our Amazon link at the top of the page. That way, when you make a purchase, we get a little kickback that helps cover the costs of hosting the show, and it doesn't cost you a thing. You'll pay the same price just like normal. And we actually got an email from one of our listeners, Drew, who he went to our website and couldn't find the link. And he realized that on his browser, he had an ad blocker up that was blocking all advertising. Right. So he couldn't find it. So as soon as he turned that off on his browser, then he could see the link. So I don't know if anybody else has gone to the page and not been able to find the Amazon link, but that could be it. It could be some setting in your browser that's preventing you from seeing it. But anyway, thank you to everybody who's been clicking through that link. We got an email from listener Matthew. I'm just going to read here. A few years ago, I encountered something around the craps table that was just plain strange. I was not playing, but watching a single player roll the dice. He was betting mostly green with some black. When he noticed I was watching, he stopped, and the pit came over and said I was not allowed to even watch the table. I had to move along. I moved along, but watched from a distance where I was not detected. I observed people being asked not to watch many times over. Couldn't play, couldn't watch. So nobody could even play on the table or watch this guy.
Yeah, what the hell's going on there?
A few questions. Have you ever heard of this? Is this legal? What could I have done if I felt so inclined? I really didn't care that much, figuring their place, their rules. But sometimes my teamster's attitude comes out, and I don't mind a good argument. Just need to know my options first. I should mention that this casino happened to be Caesars Windsor in Canada. But I won't be back there, so I am mainly asking about U.S. casinos if it ever happens to me again. So yeah, that is a good question. And I don't know what the...
Well, we're not attorneys.
Yeah, neither one of us is attorney.
So we don't know what happens in Canada.
Certainly don't know.
Let alone, American casinos, what the law is. Yeah. But I will say this, in Las Vegas...
And Nevada.
You are allowed to watch anything you want.
Absolutely, you can watch. Sure.
Right. And they cannot ask you to leave unless you're impinging the person in some way. Like,
sure, if there's some other reason.
You're touching them or you're
abusive.
or you're standing so close to them that it's uncomfortable.
But in Nevada, specifically Nevada, all gambling must be public. So you're absolutely allowed to watch.
Right.
Yeah. So if that ever happens in Nevada, you can just say, no, I have every right to be here.
Right.
I'm going to call gaming.
Yeah, it could be the most famous person in the world standing in front of you playing. You're allowed to watch.
Yeah, exactly. Absolutely.
Maybe, and this is just conjecture on my part, but maybe this guy had come up with some model of play that's actually a winner.
Oh,
And he was testing it out for the casino.
Oh,
and they didn't want people to see his gambling method
because he'd figured out how to beat craps. That's a very good guess on your part as to what was really going on there.
Yeah, that's a real secretive.
Yeah,
they couldn't do it in a back room. They had to test it out in casino.
Conditions. Real conditions, right? Yeah. That doesn't explain though. But if it's real casino conditions, why didn't they just have a bunch of people around the table? I think your theory is falling through. I don't think it's holding water.
What I don't understand about this now, he said that there was only the one guy playing. Was there a sign reserving the table?
Yeah, that's another good question too, because you can have reserved tables, but even if they're reserved, you can still watch.
Right, you can still watch. But if it was reserved, that would explain just the one guy there.
Yeah, that's possible.
And maybe he was like, one of these people that for whatever reason didn't watch.
Yeah.
And the casino was trying to make him happy, figuring, well, if no one complains, we'll just ask him to move on.
Maybe, but again, Canada, who knows what the law is there as far as that goes. Yeah, so
it's weird.
So we don't know.
Crazy Canucks.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, it's the Wild West up there.
Yeah.
Hey, another, speaking of crazy things happening in casinos. So remember on our last show, we got a call from listener Adam, who was talking about how at Mystic Lake Casino, they have $1 blackjack, but they take 25 cents for every hand commission for every hand at $1 blackjack. Adam got back to us and said, yeah, those tables were packed.
Unbelievable.
So, honestly, we talked about this. You'd be much better off just going to a $5 minimum table for a bankroll. If you're you're worried about your bankroll, I can only afford $1 blackjack. You're way better off going to the $5 table and playing.
Right.
Than losing $1 every 4 hands.
Yeah, unless your bankroll's $20 or something. Right. And even then you might be better off.
But he said they were packed. So, it's disconcerting because we always go on about, casinos, you need to get rid of 6 to 5 blackjack. But, most people who frequent the casino, they don't know that. They're not concerned about that. And that's
Sucker born every minute, right? P.T. Barnum.
Yeah.
It's the P.T. Barnum theory.
So anyway, but thanks for getting back to us on that, Adam. And speaking of voicemails, let's go to our voicemail hotline. Don't forget to give us a call at 951-292-4377. That's 951-2-WAGERS.
951-2-WAGERS.
And let's go to our first call. This was actually a call that we intended to use on the previous show, but our audio got all messed up. Okay. It wasn't the audio from the phone call. It was our response. Audio was just missing. It just was gone.
Yeah.
So I need to reassess our...
And this was one where we kind of needed to explain it in detail.
Sometimes if some of the audio is missing, I can kind of edit around it and make it make sense. And this one, no way.
Too much math.
Yeah, too much math. All right, so let's go to this call.
Oh, hi. I have a question. A friend of mine wants to know, what is the percentage of time that you would roll 3 sevens, not necessarily in a row, before a 6 or an 8 came up? So if you could just let us know, what's the percentage that you would roll 3 sevens before you rolled a 6 or an 8? Thank you very much.
Okay, thanks for the call. Well, she didn't leave her name, but let's just call her Nicoletta.
Yeah, it's good. Sounds like a good name.
Yeah, we'll say it was Nicoletta's call. So thanks for the call, Nicoletta. Okay, so this is actually, the math on this is actually pretty straightforward. We want to know, what are the chances of rolling 3 sevens before a 6 or an 8? And they don't have to be in a row, so no other number matters.
And it's just a 6 or an 8, not a 6 and an 8.
Right, a 6 or an 8. Okay, so the only rolls we care about are 7s, 6s, and 8s, right? Now, of the 36, so we don't have to pay attention to all 36 possible rolls. We only need to remember the 7s, 6s, and 8s. Mm-hmm. There are 6 ways to roll a 7. And there are 5 ways each to roll a 6 and 8.
Right. So a total of 10 6s or 8s.
Right. So we're talking about 16 rolls that really we're interested in.
Right.
6 ways to roll a 7, 10 ways to roll a 6 or an 8. So that's 16 total. Okay. All right. So what are the chances of rolling 1 7 before a 6 or an 8?
Yeah, that'd be the 6 chances of rolling a 7 out of the 16 possible chances of rolling all 3 of them.
Yes, exactly.
So
6 out of 16. Okay. Which is 37.5%. Okay. So now if we want to figure out the chances of rolling 3 sevens before a 6 or an 8, we just take that 37.5% cubed. So in other words, 37.5 times 37.5 times 37.5, right? And that's around 5.27%. Okay. Those are the chances of rolling 3 sevens before a 6 or an 8.
Okay.
And actually, those are the chances of rolling 3 or more 7s before a 6 or an 8. Because all we've done is done the math for the 3 7s.
For the 3 7s, right.
So the chances of rolling 3 or more 7s before a 6 or an 8, it's about 5.27%. Okay. If we want to figure out the chances of rolling exactly 3 sevens before a 6 or an 8, then we just take that 5.27% and multiply it by the chances of rolling a 6 or an 8 before a 7, which is 10 out of 16. Right? Remember, we had those 16 rolls, so it's 10 out of 16. So 5.27% times 10 out of 16, we end up with about 3.3%.
So 3.33% chance of rolling exactly 3 7s before either a 6 or an 8.
Right. So that's the math. Now, you want to be real careful when you start throwing around numbers like this, because a lot of times people will ask thinking, okay, I can take this information and kind of come up with a betting scheme that will help me, win. And that's just not the case, because what a lot of people will do, they'll think, oh, okay, let's see, 3.3% are the chances of rolling 3 7s before a 6 or an 8. So if I've already rolled 2 7s, there's only a 3.3 chance that I'll roll another 7 before a 6 or an 8. No, that's not the case, because you've already rolled 2 7s. The dice don't have memory. Right? The math starts again after each roll.
Yeah, so that third 7 would still be 6 chances out of 16.
Right, exactly. So as long as you're aware of that, what has already happened on the dice has no bearing on what's about to happen on the dice.
Maybe that's what that guy that Matthew was talking about was trying to figure out, sitting at the craps table by himself. It was the same dilemma.
Oh, it was the guy he was, that he was watching?
He was watching. He was trying to figure this out.
He had gotten to 2 7s.
Yeah, right.
And he said, stay away. All right. There's only a 3.3 chance I'm going to roll another 7 before 6 or an 8. So I'm putting all my money on 6 and 8.
And then the 7 came up.
Maybe that's the case. Anyway, so anyway, we gave you the answers for the questions, but really what we want to emphasize is you can't think in terms of, oh, here's what's already happened. So the chances of, me rolling another 7, oh my gosh, it's astronomical now. No, every roll is independent. Right?
And that's why I think that's where most people who maybe aren't, real math familiar or real craps familiar kind of get themselves in a little trouble when they go to the game and they try and think about systems, So they're smart enough to think, well, maybe I can beat this. Maybe I can do something here. And then they get kind of lost in the math.
Yeah. And they count, there have been 5 7s. It's the old gambler's fallacy, right?
Right. Exactly. So I think the best thing to do for this caller, Nicoletta, would be maybe make a pass line bet with 2 come bets.
Yeah. That's not a bad idea.
And just go from there.
That's right. Maybe if she has like a brother who's familiar with the game, maybe sit down with her brother and kind of,
go over
take
that.
advice from him. Yeah. And don't bet like he bets.
No, don't bet.
Because if she's got a brother who, plays quite a bit.
Right.
He probably is a wild man at the table.
Probably a little crazy.
But
make smart bets.
Right,
do what he tells you, not what he does.
Exactly.
Right? Which is good advice for any woman when talking to her brother.
Exactly. That's good. All right, let's go to our next call.
Hey, guys. It's Derek out here from Utah calling you again. First off, thanks for the show. Really enjoy it. Really great times. I just had a quick question for you. I went out to Wendover this last weekend and took the in-laws out for a little Christmas party, took them to concert and dinner and whatnot. But anyways, as you saw on Twitter, I won a jackpot of $3,800+ and long story short, they gave me a W-2G, I believe it's called, the tax form. I've never won quite that much in one setting or at one time to where I needed to do the taxes. I was calling to get your guys' advice on how to handle the taxes and what you can write off as far as win-loss ratio and, just kind of some advice there, I guess. So once again, thanks for the show, and we have to get you guys out to Wendover sometime. We'll see you later. Bye.
Okay, so yeah, Derek, he went to the Randy Houser concert that was up there in Wendover.
Yeah.
And
I wouldn't mind going to Wendover.
Oh, I know. Sometime. We have to head up there. We've talked about it. I'm sure we would enjoy it. Yeah, it's just, getting there.
Right.
It'd be more the kind of thing that we do if we were passing through.
Right. It's like, maybe if we were on our way to a national park or something.
Yeah,
right?
or if we happen to be at Salt Lake City for some reason, just go over. Right? Yeah. But anyway, he went to this Randy Houser concert up in Wendover, and afterwards he hit this big slot win, and he posted the picture to Twitter, and he included Randy Houser in the tweet too, and so Randy Houser came back and said, "Hey, congrats, man!"
Oh, nice.
I don't know if it was Randy Houser or his publicist or whatever, but they
either
responded
way, that's
to
pretty
Derek.
nice.
Yeah. So nice win. Congratulations on the win, Derek. We want to preface this by saying that neither one of us is a lawyer or an accountant.
Right.
We just want to make that clear.
Yeah.
But so, when it comes to your taxes, absolutely go to an accountant.
Right.
But here's one thing we do know for sure. You cannot deduct losses greater than your wins.
Otherwise I'd never be paying taxes.
That's right. So, just as the simple example, if you won $3,000, you can only deduct up to $3,000 worth of losses and no more.
Right.
And also, if you were to be audited, the IRS would want to see a diary of your gambling losses. And an Excel spreadsheet is not good enough. It needs to be a handwritten diary.
Right. They are pretty specific about wanting details.
Yeah.
Like I was at X casino for Y amount of time, and I played this for this long, and I did that for that long, and, I was in the toilet for this long, they want, it's crazy.
Yeah. Now, some casinos will keep track of your wins and losses for you, but those are pretty inaccurate. Boy, especially if you're playing table games, they're inaccurate,
Very
right?
inaccurate.
And go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, I would think, though, unless you had a huge win, for something like this, you could probably tell your accountant, look, I won this, but, I've been 2 or 3 other trips this year and I've lost, and they would probably be fine. And you probably would not get audited. Yeah. I mean, I can't say that for sure because I'm not an accountant or a CPA or an attorney, but chances are you would not get audited and you would probably be okay for that. Now, if it was a large win, you might have some difficulty.
Well, sure, it was like really big, like $500,000 or something.
Right, yeah, you'd probably have some
obviously you're going to pay some taxes on that. Well, and if it was that big, they would have deducted the amount before they paid you too. Kind of like the fire bets that we hit. Right. They actually took the money out right there.
Yeah, we paid the taxes right there. Yeah, now, I'm assuming that we'll get some of that back on our taxes when we declare that we've had losses.
Yes. So here's the other thing, and there's some gray area here. The IRS might insist that you be a professional gambler, that you be listed as a professional gambler before you can deduct any losses.
Yeah, boy.
And again, this is a gray area. I
haven't heard that before.
Really? I have. But again, is it true? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm going to ask my CPA this year when I go, she kind of, I know before in the past she's said, I've gotten the form from the casino and they've said, she said, well, did you lose that much? You lose, at least that. I'm like, yeah, okay, fine. And she just writes it off. All right, and I've never had a problem.
Okay. But, talk to your accountant. That's ultimately the answer to your question. All right, let's hear from Miguel.
Hey, guys. This is Miguel from Santa Ana, longtime friend of the show, calling in to say hello and give you New Year's greetings. Also to wish Dr. Mike well on his surgery and hope to hear you guys back on the air pretty soon. And by the way, I have to admit, I am one of those people that Dr. Mike hates. I like to go to Vegas, and sometimes I go there, and I don't even gamble. But think to yourself, where's the best Chinese restaurant in the world right now? It's in Vegas. It's not in China. So case in point. Anyway, my call is about a question I had, because I do love Vegas so much. I was wondering, has anyone ever thought about when they pass away, they reach that final stage, to have themselves cremated and maybe their ashes scattered in Las Vegas? What a great place that would be. Because whenever people think of you, they would think of going to Las Vegas to pay their last respects again. What a wonderful thing that would be, except that I'm pretty sure that it's illegal to spread your ashes in Las Vegas. And my question to you and to the audience is, if you had a choice of getting your remains stored in Las Vegas somewhere, where would you do it? If it was legal, of course. People would probably say the volcano, the fountains of Bellagio. I was just curious. I, by the way, have no such place in mind, but I do just like the concept of it. Anyway, guys, have a great new year. Keep the work going, and I just love your podcast. See you soon. Bye-bye.
That's quite a question, Miguel. Quite a question. And it's not that I hate people who go to Vegas and don't gamble. I just find them very strange.
Sure, they're odd.
They're odd.
Yeah.
They're odd. I mean, I'm sure they're nice people, and I put that in a little quote, but it's just strange that you wouldn't gamble at all while you were there. As far as, I wished I had heard this before my surgery, because, you have to give them your advanced directive when you go in for surgery in case something bad happens.
Yeah.
I could have added that in there. Look, do this with my ashes. I would think that if it were legal all of a sudden to put my ashes anywhere I wanted, I'd have half of my ashes spread in the underground stinky bathroom that's at Caesar Palace.
That was going to be my answer. That one across from Gordon Ramsay Pub.
Yeah, the underground stinky bathroom.
That's going to be my answer.
Because that way, you could tell people who you didn't really care for, go down there and see my ashes. They have these bathrooms at Caesar's Palace.
Yeah.
They've been there since the place was there.
Well, I mean, since we've been going it's always been there. Yeah.
They've kind of changed how you enter them a little bit over the years. But
it's at the bottom of an escalator off the casino
off the
floor.
casino. It's underground.
Yeah.
And when you're halfway down the escalator, I mean, the stench just hits you like full on in the face. I mean, it's like you're descending into the sewer. And so that's where half of them would be. Okay. Then the other half, for people I like and enjoy, it'd be somewhere nicer, like, maybe on a craps table in some corner there.
Somewhere, yeah. Maybe the one where we hit the fire bed.
Yeah. And the lady comes by to clean the table and just scoops the ashes up.
Right. That's it. Oh, let me get that for you. Well, you took my answer, so I have nothing to say. All right.
Stinky bathrooms. That's always good.
It.
And if you haven't experienced that, seriously, go there. I mean, everyone should say they've been to those stinky bathrooms.
You can't say that you're a Vegas aficionado if you haven't gone to the stinky bathrooms at casino at Caesar's Palace. Yeah.
It's such a nice place, and then they've got these stinky bathrooms.
Well, thanks for the call, Miguel. Yeah, longtime friend of the show, Miguel. He's coming to our home game, poker home game this year. He's been to more home games this year than you.
Yeah, I know. I've been bad. I have so much going on.
Yeah.
I got to save my luck for important things like fire bets and stuff.
I understand. All right, one more call.
Hey, Mark. Dr. Mike, it's Adam from Kansas calling again. First off, I hope Dr. Mike's doing okay after his back surgery. Second, just wanted to give a little Vegas update. Just got back from a trip the other day. I went with 4 guys. We stayed at Harrah's. The rooms were, it's Harrah's. They're nothing special. Didn't get to play as much craps as maybe I'd like to, but we spent a lot of time downtown playing free bet blackjack. I know you talked about it on one of your shows, and I've got to say, it's probably one of the funner versions of blackjack out there. There's just something about those free doubles and splits that it really makes for a fun day playing. It was a pretty good trip all in all. Between the 5 of us, 4 of us came home with more money than we left with. And the one guy who didn't come home with more wasn't that far behind. It was pretty much the classic degenerate gambler trip. I think we got about 2 or 3 hours sleep a night and pretty much lived at the gaming table. I did get a chance to run over to O'Shea's inside the link and shoot a little bit of craps, and I had a couple observations. It was a good table. I got fairly lucky. It was a pretty good roll. I threw a 4-point fire, which is always nice. Hit a couple other points a couple times, so we made some good money on that roll. But one of the weird observations I had was, I don't know if you guys have had a chance to play in there, but the tables are a green felt, and then the dice are like a pale yellow dice. And when you throw them, for the life of you, you can't see what you've rolled. The other thing I noticed is it's not a long table. It's one of those shorter craps tubs. And it's probably one of the bounciest craps tubs I've ever thrown dice in. I'd hit the back wall, and more than once the dice came all the way back to me, and I was throwing from the hook. So you can see how far they came. A couple times they bounced up onto the money, so we just couldn't get it. We got a couple no rolls off of that. It just seems like it was one of the bouncier craps tables I've ever played in. I don't know if you guys have had a chance to play dice in there, but if not, it was a fun atmosphere. I really enjoyed it. Really good craps crew. Knew their stuff. Quick with the math. Quick with the payouts. Energetic. Threw a couple tips out for them, and they were very appreciative. So if you guys get a chance, head in there and shoot some craps next time. Well, I look forward to the next show. Thanks, guys.
All right. Well, that's very good news about O'Shea's.
Right. Yeah.
Because we haven't played there yet.
No, we haven't.
We played at the Quad back before it turned into the Link. And the crew there, we weren't happy with the crew at the Quad.
They weren't good.
Yeah.
They weren't special.
So that's good to hear, though, that we'll have to hit O'Shea's next time we go over there.
Yeah.
I want to see those yellow dice,
Yeah,
too.
I'd like to see it, too. Although that does drive me crazy when you can't see. You know how every once in a while we're playing at a table and like one side will be darker just the way the light hits?
Or like one of the corners is
one
dark,
of the corners. Yeah, it goes in that coffin corner and you cannot see the dice. And and just instinctively every time it's like 7 out, you're like, really? Was that a 7? I can't see it.
Yeah.
You question that. If they call a winner, there's no question.
Right. But and I'm glad he liked playing that free bet blackjack too. Your dad would love that game.
Yeah, that's a game he'd like.
Yeah, they've got it out here at Viejas, I believe. They don't have it at Harrah's where we usually go, but I think he'd like it. And just to remind everybody, it's when you double or you split, you don't have to put out more money. The casino does it for you. And the downside is, though, that when the dealer busts with exactly 22, everybody on the table pushes. Right. Even if you hit all the way up to 21. Right. So that's kind of the downside. We talked about in episode 31. So go back to that episode if you want to hear all the details on that. But good. All right. Thanks for the call.
They do have it at up here at Viejas.
Yeah.
Oh,
well, at least they did.
Yeah. We'll have to look into that. I'd like it if Harrah's had more games like that.
Sure, your dad's always complaining about how he
a little
wishes
variety.
They had a variety, even just these carnival games, something,
yeah.
Thanks.
Well, and it sounded like they had a good trip. I always appreciate trips where it's degenerative gambling.
Exactly. Boom, boom,
2-3 hours
go,
of sleep.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you're going to Vegas. You don't want to waste time. And they all won. I mean, the one guy who, lost just a little, that's kind of a win. And
if you're going to Vegas.
You're going to Vegas.
That's a win.
That's great.
Yep. Well, speaking of good trips, he kind of buried the lead here. Now you went to Vegas for
the great gift wrap giveaway, and we had a good trip.
Yeah, tell us about it.
Well, it was funny. We weren't there that long. We got there Friday night, and we came home Sunday morning. So we did get there Friday night around 9-ish. So we had a few hours Friday night. I think we played till 1 or 2. And then we got up early Saturday and pretty much gambled all day Saturday.
Yeah.
And then left early Sunday morning. My brother and my dad got there before us on Friday. They got there like noon on Friday. And they didn't leave until like late Monday.
Yeah.
So they were there a long time.
Yeah. And it's funny when we say a long time, I know I listen to some of these other Vegas podcasts and people are talking about staying there 5 days, 6 days, 7. When we go, it's all gambling. So if it's more than like 3 days,
it's a long time.
That's a long time. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you can do a lot of damage in 3 days. For us, usually 2 days because we gamble so much. It's like, you could be down quite a bit, or up.
Yeah,
too.
Sure, yeah.
And this trip turned out to be one of those or up trips.
Nice.
Because, we, my wife and I just had good luck everywhere we went. And it started off the first night we got on a table and, there was a lot of guys on the table from Rincon, Southern California Harrah's, that were there for the same reason we were.
Yeah.
And it turns out we were all playing on the same table. We kind of all know each other, so we look for each other and play together. And one of the guys, Paul, who's a regular out at Rincon, real nice guy, he got the dice I'd say he was maybe the 4th or 5th shooter after we started, and he had a fantastic roll. He did not get a fire bet, even though he made like 7 points.
Just couldn't make 7.
7 distinct ones. Yeah, he made, if I remember correctly, they were like 8, 9, and 5.
Okay. Yeah. Just over and over.
Over and over.
Yeah.
And I mean, a couple of times he made 9, like right back 2 or 3 times in a row.
Yeah.
But then a lot of numbers in between and a lot of hard ways.
Okay.
Which was good for me. And so immediately after his roll, I jumped up, like $7,500.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Wow.
So his roll, and I think his roll started, I was pretty close to even, if not down, maybe just a little. But it was like a $7,500 roll. And my wife immediately socked that away.
Good.
So she said, now we'll just put this in the safe, and this will be your backup money, and you just play with what you brought. And if you need this, you can go into it. But if not, then they will take this home.
Okay. And you're thinking, I'm going to be going to that safe before too long,
yeah,
right?
I'm thinking I'm going to be at that safe tonight, right? and it turns out never had to open the safe again until we went home.
Nice.
So that was sweet. But after his roll, yeah, we cashed out, went up and put some money away, and then came back and played a little more and actually won a little more. My wife was standing there, and she was just watching at first. It was a $25 table, and I gave her $25.
Mm-hmm.
A $25 chip because it was her roll.
Yeah.
She put it on the table. She made a point.
Didn't she roll like some naturals first?
She
like
rolled some naturals. Yeah. She
so
rolled some 7s or 11s or something.
So
and
she had enough
some
money to take odds.
So
Okay.
she took odds and
Yeah.
she made that point. And then she made like 2 or 3 points, I think. And she rolled right before Paul. And so she had built up a little bit of a stash. And then after his roll, she had $1,500 in front of her.
Out of a $25
Out of a
chip.
$25 chip.
Nice.
And all she did was take pass line with odds.
Nothing else?
Nothing else. Didn't make any prop bets, did not place any numbers, nothing. No come bets,
Yeah.
nothing. Pass line and odds.
Yeah.
That's all she did. And she got $1,500 off her roll and his roll.
Nice.
So yeah, so she was very happy with that. And then it just went from there. And then after we came back, played a little one, ended up going to bed, like 1 or 2 and got up the next day. And it was so funny because every table we went to, every craps table, we ended up leaving away a winner.
Wow.
Now, we weren't a winner the whole time. I mean, there was a couple of them. I was down a couple $1,000s, but then somebody would have a roll and it'd end up, okay, we're ahead now. Let's go.
Nice.
So the only table I lost on the whole weekend was we had gone over to Paris, which is where my dad and brother were. We met them. The Paris tables were packed. I mean, literally packed. And I hate crowding into a packed table.
Yeah, I don't
and there were, 4 of us, so we didn't want to, like 2 of us play and 2 watch or something. So we were trying to look for an empty table. We walked over to Bally's because, Paris and Bally's are connected there.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So we walked over to Bally's and we found a table that was fairly empty and it was miserable. I mean, it was like, I went through like $1,500 in like 0 time. I mean, it was like terrible. And so the 4 of us played there and got wiped out. And then we went back to Caesars and I think they went back to Paris after that or somewhere. But that was the only table I lost at the whole trip.
Wow.
So, yeah, it was a great trip. And we got all of our free gifts.
Oh, yeah. So you were going there for the great gift wrap up in the morning. And I think
Right.
you were telling me, too, that the dealers at Caesars say this is their busiest weekend of the whole year.
One dealer told me the busiest weekend of the whole year. Now, that includes like Super Bowl and, 4th of July, all the big holidays that people go to Vegas for and stuff. And he said, this is our busiest weekend.
Yeah, well, because everybody goes there.
Yeah, everyone goes there. Well, and all the like 7 stars and the higher up diamonds go because they want their gifts, right? So everyone's there. And also, it's kind of a good time that first week in December. I guess, people like before the holidays and stuff.
Yeah.
It's a good time for a trip, I guess. Yeah. But, it is packed. Very hard to get rooms, he said, and the tables were all full. And it showed because like on Friday night, they were all $25 tables.
Yeah, at Caesars.
Yeah, there were no $15 tables.
Yeah.
Although Saturday during the day, there was a $15 table, which we just happened upon. But mostly they're $25 tables.
And so you did your shopping on Saturday morning?
Did our shopping Saturday morning. Now, my wife, she's organized and she had picked out everything she wanted because you can do it all online.
Ahead of time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So she had all the, order numbers for everything that she wanted. And she basically just had to go around to the little stations and confirm that she had the right number. And that was it. We were in and out fairly quick.
Yeah.
Other people, who don't do that ahead of time, takes forever.
Yeah.
But yeah, we got some nice stuff. Got one of those GoPro cameras.
Oh, yeah, nice.
Yeah. And I'm curious to play around with that.
Yeah.
I got an inversion table too for my back.
Oh, good.
So
All
I can hang upside down and
Great.
concentrate on, craps, strategy and stuff upside down with all the bloods at my head.
Good.
And, so anyway, good trip. And we had a nice trip home too.
And then you went to the rodeo too, right?
Oh yeah. We went to the rodeo Saturday night. The national finals, I guess. Is
the national finals rodeo. Now, why isn't it the national rodeo finals?
I don't know.
It's the national finals rodeo.
So it's like the 18 highest ranked rodeo guys and girls in the world and they compete. And they were from various countries. I mean, they weren't all Americans. A majority were Americans, but a lot of them were from foreign countries. And those guys are crazy.
Yeah.
You think, putting $100 on a hard six is crazy?
That's crazy.
I mean, these guys are crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, we took some video. It is unbelievable.
It's kind of brutal, isn't it?
It's very brutal.
Yeah.
I mean, it makes those guys that do like ultimate fighting, they're wimps compared to these guys.
Yeah.
I mean, these guys, oh my God, it is scary.
Yeah.
One guy got kicked in the back, and me prior to going into back surgery, and we read the following day when we got home. I mean, he like cracked 3 vertebrae or something,
God.
and he's going to be out for a long time.
Yeah.
But that horse kicked him in the back, and you could see he went down like a brick, and they had to cart him off. And oh my God, it's terrible. I mean, those guys, if you've never seen that, they're true athletes. I mean, you've got to be in top physical shape, number one. Yeah. And number two, it's just who thinks, I'm just going to get on this wild horse and try and ride it. But yeah, anyway, that was good. Harrah's, Caesars, anyway, took us there in a shuttle and brought us back.
Oh, good.
And, yeah, it was very nice.
Good.
So,
it's so great that you had a good trip.
Yeah.
And then the week after, you and I went to Harrah's, Southern California and had a winning trip.
Had a good, we're on a run.
You're on a run and then you have surgery.
Yeah, I know. I hope this doesn't slow me down.
Then I had to go to the casino by myself and get wiped out.
Yeah. Well,
I need you there to bring me the luck.
We guarantee each other wins is what it is.
That's right. Yeah. We feed off each other, so to speak. Good. Well, congratulations on a good trip.
Yeah. Right. Thanks.
Well, that's going to do it for this episode. We want to thank everybody who's been sending in best wishes to Mike. I know you appreciate
it a lot. Yeah.
We've been getting responses on Twitter and Facebook as well too, along with the calls and emails we've gotten. So.
Yeah, the doctor said I asked him about how long before I could play craps, and he said, as soon as you're up to it.
Nice. So maybe this week?
Maybe this weekend.
Okay. All right. Hey, be sure to download our app for your mobile device. You'll get access to all our episodes, quick links to contact us via Twitter, Facebook, email, and our voicemail hotline, and you'll get bonus audio. On the bonus audio for this episode, we talk more about stupid casinos and some of the rules they have. With our app, you'll also get TV listings showing all the gambling-related shows coming up within the next 2 weeks. I update those listings every Wednesday using a program I wrote myself to search through all the raw American TV data. The bonus audio and the TV listings are only available on our app. To download it, go to our webpage, youcanbetonthat.com, and on the left-hand side of the page, click on the link that says How to Download Our App. We have a link for Android devices and another one for iPhones and iPads. We'd love to hear from you. Call our voicemail hotline at 951-292-4377. That's 951-2-WAGERS. Or you can email us at youcanbetonThat@gmail.com. Also, follow us on Twitter at YouCanBetOnThat. We always tweet when we're in a casino or on our way to a casino, and we'd love to meet up with you. Like us on Facebook at facebook.com/YouCanBetOnThat, and head on over to iTunes and write a review for us. That helps us get new listeners. Dr. Mike.
Well, I'd just like to say once again, thank you very much for all the good wishes from all the people out there. That was wonderful to hear. And if you ever need a good back surgeon, Dr. Ostrup is the bomb.
Nice.
He's a really good surgeon. A very nice guy, too. I'm going to have to take him out to Harrah's and, give him a night of like free hardway bets or something all night long.
I'm sure he would appreciate that.
And also, I want to mention that Harrah's Southern California Resort is giving away $1 million on New Year's Eve.
Oh, yeah, that's right. New Year's Eve, 11 o'clock p.m.
Right.
On New Year's Eve. You have to be there.
You have to be present.
Yeah, not like last year.
Right, but they are giving away $1 million. So, might be worth a trip over there, especially if you're in Southern California at all.
Yep, that's right.
And, we plan on winning that.
Yeah, not me. I'm not going. I can't
but I'm
swing it. But
I'm going to try.
Maybe you'll
I'm
win.
going to try and win.
Yeah, good.
If someone in my family wins, we'll take care of you, Mark.
Thank you.
We'll have a free trip.
Appreciate it. Good, thanks. Yeah, a steak dinner.
Nice steak dinner.
A nice steak dinner. Yeah, good. Yeah. All right, thanks for listening.
Good night.